In this video we will share some interesting facts about chemistry. The only letter not found on the periodic table is the letter J. Helium is the only element that was discovered in space before it was found on Earth. Diamonds and graphite, although very different in appearance and properties, are both made entirely of carbon. An ounce of gold can be stretched into a wire 50 miles long. The smell of rain has a name, petrichor. It's caused by a combination of oils and chemicals released from the ground when it rains. There are more possible iterations of a game of chess than there are atoms in the known universe. The word, chemistry, comes from the ancient Egyptian word, chemia, meaning earth. Bananas are naturally radioactive due to the presence of potassium-40. Water is the only substance on Earth that is naturally found in all three states: solid, liquid, and gas. Francium is the most expensive element in the periodic table, which costs about $1 billion per gram. The cost of this element comes from the fact that its half-life is only 22 minutes. The chemical element with the highest melting point is tungsten, which melts at 3,422 degrees Celsius. Liquid tungsten is so hot if it came into contact with lava, the tungsten would freeze. The human body contains enough carbon to produce graphite for about 9,000 pencils. Astatine is the rarest naturally occurring element on Earth. The decay of uranium or thorium produces astatine, a naturally occurring semi-metal. The first synthetic plastic, Bakelite, was created in 1907 by Leo Baekeland. Liquid nitrogen, when poured over a balloon, can cause it to shrink because of the cold temperature. The world's oldest known periodic table was discovered in 2014 in a University of St. Andrews chemistry lab, dating back to the 1880s. Avogadro's number is an extremely large number and isn't typically counted in the traditional sense due to its vast size. If you were to count one molecule every second, it would take over 19 million years to count to Avogadro's number. This highlights the enormous scale at which atoms and molecules operate in the microscopic world of chemistry. Mercury and bromine are the only elements that are liquid at room temperature. The most common element in the universe is hydrogen, making up about 75% of its mass. The compound sodium chloride, or table salt, has been used as a form of currency in various cultures throughout history. 1 mole of any gas at standard temperature and pressure occupies approximately 22.4 liters. The noble gases helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, and radon are all colorless, odorless, and tasteless in their standard states. Carbon dating, a method used to determine the age of organic materials, is based on the decay of carbon-14 isotopes. The world's largest periodic table is located at the University of Murcia in Spain, covering an area of 118 square meters. The element gallium can melt in your hand due to its low melting point of 29.76 degrees Celsius. The compound dihydrogen monoxide, DHMO, is water. It's often used humorously to emphasize the importance of understanding chemical names. Carbon nanotubes are the strongest and stiffest materials yet discovered, even stronger than steel. The smell of a rose is due to the presence of more than 275 compounds. Nitrogen makes up about 78% of Earth's atmosphere, making it the most abundant gas in the air. The blue in blue genes comes from a dye produced by bacteria called Streptomyces. Around 200 grams salt present in human body which helps to retain water. Blood is not always red. Some animals have blue blood which is due to the copper-containing protein. Mars is red due to the presence of iron oxide. Lemons have more sugar than strawberries. Fool's gold is the name given to the mineral pyrite. It bears a very strong resemblance to real gold, but it is just iron disulfide. Marie Curie was the first woman to receive the Nobel Prize, and the first scientist to win the prize twice. In 1903 for physical and in 1911 for chemistry. The Curie family won a total of 5 Nobel Prizes. Dinitrogen oxide, N2O, when inhaled with a little oxygen, it can cause feelings of euphoria and produces hysterical laughter, hence it is known as laughing gas. Aqua regia is a mixture of nitric acid and hydrochloric acid. It is also called royal water because it has the ability to dissolve noble metals like gold, platinum. Xenon gas is used in bactericidal lamps. Radon is used for earthquake prediction. The smallest known particles in the universe are quarks and leptons, which are elementary particles that make up matter. Antoine Lavoisier, known as the father of modern chemistry, he developed the law of conservation of mass and helped establish the foundations of modern chemistry. Alfred Nobel, establishing the Nobel Prize, was a Swedish chemist. He invented dynamite, an explosive material. Gunpowder, also known as black powder, is a mixture of saltpeter, potassium nitrate, charcoal, and sulfur. It was invented in China in the 9th century. Carbon dioxide is the most commonly used gas for extinguishing a fire. The most commonly tear gases used by police are CS2-chlorobenzylidene malonitrile and CN-chloroacetophenone. The nuclei with 2, 8, 20, 28, 50, 82, 126 neutrons or protons are particularly stable and abundant in nature. These numbers are known as magic numbers in chemistry. Dynamite contains peanuts as a part of its ingredient. Air behaves as liquid at a temperature of -190 degrees Celsius. Fish scales are commonly used as an integral part of lipstick ingredients. We cannot taste anything without saliva. Chocolate contains a compound called theobromine, which is toxic to dogs but harmless to humans. Dry ice is a solid form of carbon dioxide. The smell of freshly baked bread is caused by a chemical reaction between amino acids and sugars during baking. The compound capsaicin, which gives chili peppers their spicy heat, can cause a burning sensation because it binds to pain receptors in the mouth. Neon signs glow because electricity passes through neon gas, causing it to emit light. The compound responsible for the smell of rotten eggs is hydrogen sulfide. The element bismuth is the heaviest element that is stable and non-radioactive. The process of rusting is a chemical reaction between iron, oxygen, and water. The compound responsible for the green color in plants is chlorophyll, which plays a crucial role in photosynthesis. The element arsenic has been used historically as a poison due to its toxicity. The process of fermentation, used to make alcoholic beverages like beer and wine, involves the conversion of sugars into ethanol by yeast. The element radium glows in the dark due to its radioactivity. The compound responsible for the smell of vinegar is acetic acid. The process of sublimation involves a substance transitioning directly from a solid to a gas without passing through a liquid phase, like dry ice. The element uranium was named after the planet Uranus, which was discovered shortly before uranium itself. The compound responsible for the bitter taste in coffee and chocolate is caffeine. The process of electrolysis is used to separate water into hydrogen and oxygen gases using an electric current. The element platinum is used as a catalyst in catalytic converters to reduce harmful emissions from vehicles. The element krypton is used in some types of high-intensity lighting, such as in flashlights and airport runway lights. The element silver has been used for thousands of years for its antibacterial properties. Glass is not a solid, it is a supercooled liquid. Lightning strikes produce ozone, hence the characteristic smell after lightning storms. Helium is used in weather balloons, in welding and in traffic signal lights. Helium balloons float because helium is lighter than air. A diamond will not react with any acid, including hydrochloric or sulfuric acid. The only two non-silvery metals are gold and copper. Water expands on freezing. The volume of one ice cube is 9% more than the liquid used to form it. Every hydrogen atom in your body is likely 13.5 billion years old because they were created at the birth of the universe. Superfluid helium defies gravity and climbs on walls. If you pour a handful of salt into a glass of water, the water level goes down instead of rising and overflowing. DNA is a flame retardant. DNA, also known as the blueprint for life, contains all the biological instructions that make each species unique. A rubber tire is technically one single, giant, polymerized molecule. Your car's airbags are packed with salt sodium azide, which is very toxic. Oxygen gas has no color. But solid or liquid oxygen appears to be blue. The number of buckets of water found in the ocean, Atlantic Ocean, is less than the number of atoms found in a bucket of water. When we lost approximately 1% water of our bodies, then we feel thirsty. Consuming an excessive amount of water can cause death. Hot water can freeze more quickly than cold water. It is called Mpemba effect. Hydrofluoric acid is so corrosive that it will dissolve glass. Although it is corrosive, hydrofluoric acid is considered to be a weak acid. Bee stings are acidic, while wasp stings are alkaline. You can't freeze helium simply by cooling it to absolute zero. It will freeze if you apply extremely intense pressure. Liquid air is slightly blue, just like water. Clouds aren't gas. They're actually made of tiny drops of liquid. You really can't drink seawater because it has too much salt. If you drink seawater, it will get you dehydrated very quickly, and it will cause nausea, vomiting, tiredness, and in extreme cases, death. Talc is the softest known substance. Chadwick, the discoverer of neutron, was the student of Rutherford, the discoverer of proton, who was the student of Thomson, the discoverer of electron. The world's most expensive material is antimatter, i.e. 1 gram costs $25 billion. Just 1 gram of this material is enough to destroy the entire New York City. Every year about 98% of atoms in your body are replaced. Rain contains vitamin B12. An atom is about 99.999999% empty space. Lithium is the lightest metal and osmium is the heaviest metal. A chemical garden is an experiment in chemistry usually performed by adding metal salts to an aqueous solution of sodium silicate. Petroleum is also known as black gold because when crude oil is extracted from the land it is black in color. People call it gold because of its economic value. Nuclear energy releases zero carbon emissions. There are some elements which are after the names of the scientists. Plutonium, used in nuclear reactors and weapons, is named after the planet Pluto. Carbon is known as the building block of life because it forms the basis of organic chemistry and is found in all living organisms. 1 teaspoon of honey is the lifetime work of about 12 bees. The world's largest crystal, found in the Cave of the Crystals in Mexico, is made of gypsum and measures approximately 12 meters in length. The element titanium is commonly used in aerospace applications due to its high strength-to-weight ratio and corrosion resistance. The pH scale measures the acidity or alkalinity of a solution, ranging from 0 to 14. The element silicon is a crucial component of computer chips and semiconductors, playing a vital role in modern electronics and technology. The chemical process responsible for the blue color of the sky is called Rayleigh scattering. It occurs when sunlight interacts with molecules in the Earth's atmosphere, causing shorter blue wavelengths of light to scatter more than longer red wavelengths. The chemical compound known as hydrogen peroxide is a powerful oxidizing agent and antiseptic. It is commonly used for disinfection, bleaching, and as a propellant in rocketry. The process of nuclear fusion powers the sun and stars, where hydrogen atoms combine to form helium under immense pressure and temperature. The International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry is the global authority for chemical nomenclature, terminology, and standardized methods in chemistry. It establishes rules and guidelines for naming chemical compounds, elements, and reactions to ensure consistency and clarity in scientific communication. The process of catalysis involves the acceleration of a chemical reaction by a substance called a catalyst, which remains unchanged in the reaction. The chemical compound known as carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas that plays a significant role in Earth's climate system. While essential for photosynthesis and life on Earth, elevated levels of CO2 in the atmosphere contribute to global warming and climate change. The chemical compound known as aspirin, acetylsalicylic acid, is a widely used medication for pain relief, fever reduction, and anti-inflammatory purposes. The chemical compound known as insulin is a hormone produced by the pancreas that regulates blood sugar levels in the body. The process of chromatography is a technique used to separate and analyze complex mixtures. It is widely used in analytical chemistry, biochemistry, and environmental science for qualitative and quantitative analysis of compounds. The first organic compound synthesized by a chemist was urea. In 1828, German chemist Friedrich Wöhler successfully produced urea by heating ammonium cyanate. Little Boy was the name of the bomb dropped on Hiroshima on August 6, 1945. It was a uranium-235 gun-type atomic bomb. Fat Man was the name of the bomb dropped on Nagasaki on August 9, 1945. It was a plutonium implosion-type atomic bomb. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki were indeed the first and last instances of the use of nuclear weapons in warfare. They occurred during World War II. The glow is seen at the abdomen region of the fireflies. This is because of the chemical reaction of a protein luciferin with oxygen, calcium and ATP resulting in production of glow. This glow and light emission reaction is known as bioluminescence. The Olympic gold medals are not completely made of gold. In fact, they are made of at least 95% of silver, containing a minimum of 6 grams of gold. Surprisingly, 20% of the world's oxygen is produced in the Amazon rainforest. This is the largest rainforest on Earth. Its basin covers 40% of the South American continent. Friedrich Kekulé conceived the idea of the benzene structure and its resonance forms after a dream in which he saw a snake seizing its own tail. Adding Mentos to a bottle of Coke causes a large amount of pressure to build up. This basically makes the Coke go flying as a soda geyser. The responsible process is called nucleation. Graphite is used in nuclear reactors as a moderator. Basically, a nuclear moderator decreases the speed of neutron release, allowing to control the nuclear chain reaction. A relatively complex process takes place when you cut an onion. This results on the release of propanethyl S oxide, which is an irritant of the lacrimal glands, which release tears. Soap is a mixture of amphipathic molecules, which have both a hydrophobic chain and a hydrophilic head. In water, these molecules such as fatty acid carboxylates are arranged forming micelles. Planet Uranus is indeed rich in extremely flammable gases, methane and hydrogen. But the burning of these gases requires oxygen. While we take oxygen for granted in Earth, Uranus simply doesn't have enough for the flammable gases to burn. A crystal is a solid substance that presents a highly ordered arrangement of its microscopic components. On the other hand, glass is an amorphous non-crystalline solid, which are usually produced by rapid cooling of melted amorphous materials, such as silica or CO2. The origin of life is basically the transition from chemistry to biology, and it is estimated to have happened on Earth around 4,000 million years ago, when gaseous water first condensed to give liquid water. Sound travels around 2 to 3 times faster through helium, making high frequencies sound louder than low frequencies, making your overall voice sound higher in a funny way. The hardest substance on the human body is enamel, the external tissue that covers teeth. It is made up almost exclusively by minerals, being calcium phosphate the main component. Ethylene is a gas that acts as a growth hormone for plants. It can be released by plants and fruits, and at the same time, it regulates processes such as aging or ripening. The Mole Day is a sort of funny celebration day for chemists, which takes place on the 23rd of October between 6:02 a.m. and 6:02 p.m. This makes the date to be 6:02 10/23. This celebrates basically Avogadro's constant, as 1 mole of each substance contain Avogadro's number of particles. The layer of ozone present on the stratosphere protects us from most dangerous UV radiation coming from the sun. Over the 1980s and 1990s, more accurately, a zone of partial depletion or lower ozone concentration in this layer was dangerously growing in size, as a result of people abusing the use of CFC chlorofluorocarbons compounds. The striking surface of matches is made up of sand, powdered glass and red phosphorus. When the match head is dragged along the striking surface, the sand and powdered glass cause friction and heat, which is enough to convert some of the red phosphorus to white phosphorus, a chemical so volatile that it ignites in the air. Can you turn lead into gold? Alchemy, the proto-science of chemistry, believed that it was possible to transform other metals into gold by the use of a philosopher's stone. Now we know that is not possible, it was just myths and magic. However, it can be actually done by using nuclear transmutation. Using road salt as a means of freezing point depression, which means that road salt can lower the freezing temperature of the water. Salt makes ice melt faster, which helps to remove ice much faster. The ocean is blue because water absorbs colors in the red part of the light spectrum. Like a filter, this leaves behind colors in the blue part of the light spectrum for us to see. Absolute zero is the lowest temperature possible. At a temperature of absolute zero there is no motion and no heat. It occurs at a temperature of 0 Kelvin, or minus 273.15 degrees Celsius, or at minus 460 degrees Fahrenheit. In the summer, air temperature is higher and holds more water vapor, which raises the level of humidity. High humidity makes temperatures feel hotter, even stifling, because all the water vapor in the air makes it difficult for sweat to evaporate from our skin. This makes it hard for us to cool off. Copper, gold and silver are known as coinage metals because they were used to make coins. All the metals are noble with respect to chemical activity. Chemical compounds typically used as oxidizers in fireworks are nitrates, chlorates and perchlorates. The sulfur and charcoal act as the fuel, while the potassium nitrate acts as an oxidizer, which is crucial for the creation of fireworks. An oxidizing agent, a fuel, metal compounds for color and a binder are needed to create a proper firework. Buckyballs, also known as buck, Minster fullerene, is a type of fullerene with the formula C60. It has a cage-like fused ring structure made of 20 hexagons and 12 pentagons, and resembles a football. Each of its 60 carbon atoms is bonded to its 3 neighbors. Iodized salt is salt that contains small amounts of sodium iodide or potassium iodide. It contains added iodine to help prevent iodine deficiency and thyroid problems. Kala Namak or black salt is a kiln-fired rock salt with a sulfurous, pungent smell used in the Indian subcontinent. It is also known as Himalayan black salt or Sulmani Namak. It primarily consists of sodium chloride and trace impurities of sodium sulfate, sodium bisulfate, sodium bisulfite, sodium sulfide, iron sulfide and hydrogen sulfide. Sunglass manufacturers usually make lenses out of either glass or plastics such as polycarbonates or polyallyl diglycol carbonate. Aluminum or silver coatings give lenses a mirrored look. Metal oxide coatings reduce the amount of UV radiation transmitted through the sunglasses, protecting the eyes. The oxides can also provide a colored tint to the lens. Butane is a hydrocarbon and a highly flammable, colorless, odorless, easily liquefied gas. It is typically used as fuel for cigarette lighters and portable stoves, a propellant in aerosols, a heating fuel, a refrigerant, and in the manufacture of a wide range of products. The chemical name of Cendor is vermilion, having the chemical formula as Pb3O4. Cendor or vermilion is red in color as it is made up by crushing lead and mixing or reacting it with oxygen. The lead in it gives it its bright red color. Borosilicate glass is a type of glass that is known for its high heat resistance and durability. It is made by melting together boron oxide, silica, and other compounds at very high temperatures. This process creates a glass that is highly resistant to thermal shock and chemical corrosion. Tincture of iodine, iodine tincture, or weak iodine solution is an antiseptic. It is usually 2 to 3% elemental iodine, along with potassium iodide or sodium iodide, dissolved in a mixture of ethanol and water. Tincture solutions are characterized by the presence of alcohol. It was used from 1908 in pre-operative skin preparation by Italian surgeon. CNG is an abbreviation of compressed natural gas, whereas LPG is an abbreviation of liquefied petroleum gas. The primary difference between CNG and LPG lies in the components that make up these fuels. While CNG is primarily made up of methane, LPG is primarily made up of propane. Artificial sweeteners are sometimes hundreds to thousands of times sweeter than sugar. They work by allowing your brain to register the sweet taste, yet the way they are broken down in your body is different from sugar. So you get a sweet taste without the extra calories. Saccharin is commonly used as a sugar substitute because it doesn't contain calories or carbs. Humans can't break down saccharin, so it leaves your body unchanged. It's around 300 to 400 times sweeter than regular sugar, so you only need a small amount to get a sweet taste. Nylon 6,6 is a synthetic polymer which is a polyamide or nylon. The nylon 6,6 is formed of two monomer units each containing 6 carbon atoms. The two monomers are hexamethylene-diamine and adipic acid. The Eiffel Tower can be 15 centimeters taller during the summer. As the iron structure heats up, it expands, causing the tower to grow. Blackbody is a surface that absorbs all radiant energy falling on it. The term arises because incident visible light will be absorbed rather than reflected, and therefore the surface will appear black. Adrenaline epinephrine is a hormone your adrenal glands make to help you prepare for stressful or dangerous situations. Adrenaline rush is the name for the quick release of adrenaline into your bloodstream. This gets your body ready for a fight or flight response. Apple seeds contain amygdalin. If the seeds are chewed or crushed, they will convert into cyanide, that is highly poisonous and can be deadly in high doses. Tabletop volcanoes can be created using ammonium dichromate. Chalk is made of trillions of microscopic skeleton fossils of plankton. Chocolates contain phenylethylamine, the same chemical released in your brain when you fall in love. Graphene aerogel, the world's lightest material, is 7 times lighter than air. Ghost particle usually refers to neutrinos, which are extremely lightweight subatomic particles that interact very weakly with other matter. They're often called ghost particles because they can pass through ordinary matter, including our bodies, without any interaction. God particles usually refers to the Higgs boson, a fundamental particle in particle physics that helps explain why other particles have mass. Ink is a complex mixture of water, pigments, varnishes, resins, glues, and binders. In its most basic form, the black ink consists of carbon in the form of graphite particles suspended in a mixture of water and soot, the byproduct of combustion. Dyes are typically organic compounds with complex aromatic structures. They contain chromophores, which are responsible for the absorption of light and the coloration of the material. Dyes are often soluble in water or organic solvents. Pigments can be organic or inorganic compounds. They are insoluble particles that are finely ground and dispersed in a medium, such as a binder or vehicle. Pigments do not chemically bond with the material but instead adhere to its surface. In zero gravity, a candle flame is round and blue. A universal indicator is a mixture of several different pH indicators that, when combined, cover a wide pH range and change color depending on the acidity or alkalinity of a solution. It is typically used in chemistry to quickly determine the pH of a solution. The chemical thioacetone is the world's smelliest substance. It's so bad that, after a lab technician dropped a vial of it, it induced instant vomiting from people in buildings almost half-mile away. A black hole is a region in space where the gravitational pull is so strong that nothing, not even light, can escape from it. They form when massive stars collapse under their own gravity at the end of their life cycle. The boundary surrounding a black hole, beyond which nothing can escape, is called the event horizon. Anything that crosses the event horizon is pulled into the black hole, adding to its mass. The world's slowest chemical experiment is the pitch drop experiment at the University of Queensland in Australia. This experiment has been running since 1927 and aims to measure the flow of a highly viscous liquid known as pitch, or bitumen. The pitch appears solid at room temperature but is actually a highly viscous fluid. You cannot unbake a cake. Once a cake is baked, its chemical and physical properties are permanently altered. The ingredients undergo reactions such as protein denaturation, starch gelatinization, and leavening agent activation, resulting in the formation of a cake with its unique texture, structure, and flavor. The critical temperature of a substance is the temperature at and above which vapor of the substance cannot be liquefied, no matter how much pressure is applied. Every substance has a critical temperature. Incineration is a process in which organic waste material is subjected to high temperatures, typically around 800 to 1000 degrees Celsius. This process helps to reduce the volume of waste and can also generate energy in the form of heat or electricity. TDS stands for total dissolved solids. It represents the combined concentration of dissolved substances in water, including minerals, salts, metals, and organic compounds. TDS is typically measured in milligrams per liter or parts per million. The presence of dissolved solids in water can affect its taste, odor, and appearance. High levels of TDS may indicate poor water quality. Heavy water, also known as deuterium oxide, is a form of water in which the hydrogen atoms are replaced by deuterium atoms, an isotope of hydrogen with 1 proton and 1 neutron in its nucleus. Boric acid has mild antibiotic properties against fungal or bacterial infection. Boric acid is used as an eye wash to cleanse or irrigate the eyes. Boric acid provides soothing relief from eye irritation, and helps remove pollutants from the eye such as smog, chlorine, or other chemicals. Methanol is also referred as wood alcohol or wood spirit or wood naphtha, as the earliest method for its preparation was by destructive distillation of wood. Formalin is a mixture of 40% formaldehyde, 8% methyl alcohol, and 52% water. It is used as an antiseptic, a disinfectant, a germicide, a fungicide, and for preserving animal specimens and sterilizing surgical instruments. NPK stands for nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, which are 3 essential nutrients for plant growth. Smog is a type of air pollution characterized by a mixture of pollutants, including particulate matter, ground-level ozone, nitrogen oxides, volatile organic compounds, and other hazardous substances. It often forms when emissions from vehicles, industrial facilities, power plants, and other sources react with sunlight and atmospheric conditions. Distilled water and deionized water are both types of purified water, but they are produced through different methods. Distilled water is produced by boiling water and then condensing the steam back into a liquid. This process removes most impurities, including minerals, salts, and organic compounds, leaving behind pure water molecules. Deionized water is produced by passing water through ion exchange resins or membranes that selectively remove ions from the water, such as calcium, magnesium, sodium, chloride, and sulfate ions. The Ziegler-Natta catalyst is a type of catalyst used in the polymerization of olefins, such as ethylene and propylene, to produce polyolefins like polyethylene and polypropylene. It was developed independently by Carl Ziegler and Giulio Natta in the 1950s, leading to their joint Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1963. The 2023 Nobel Prize in Chemistry was awarded for the discovery and synthesis of colloidal quantum dots. 3 scientists were awarded the prize: Alexei Yekimov, Louis Bruss, and Moungi Bawendi. Quantum dots are nanoscale semiconductor particles that exhibit unique optical and electronic properties due to quantum confinement effects. They are typically composed of semiconductor materials such as cadmium selenide, cadmium sulfide, or lead sulfide, with sizes ranging from a few nanometers to tens of nanometers. The first Nobel Prize in Chemistry was awarded in 1901 to Jacobus Henri Cus van 't Hoff, of the Netherlands, for his discovery of the laws of chemical dynamics and osmotic pressure in solutions. Colligative properties are unique features of solutions. Colligative properties depend on the number of solute particles, not their type, affecting boiling and freezing points, vapor pressure, and osmotic pressure. They have diverse applications, from antifreeze in cars to preserving biological samples. Adding ethylene glycol to the radiator fluid of a car prevents freezing in cold temperatures and boiling in hot temperatures. A pure substance has a fixed melting point or boiling point at constant pressure. The purity of a substance can be tested by checking its melting point or boiling point. Uranium enrichment is the process of increasing the concentration of the fissile isotope uranium-235 relative to the non-fissile isotope uranium-238 in natural uranium. This enrichment process is necessary for producing fuel for nuclear reactors and weapons. Marsh gas, also known as methane (CH4), is a colorless, odorless, and highly flammable gas. It is the simplest hydrocarbon. In a mercury thermometer, a glass tube is filled with mercury and a standard temperature scale is marked on the tube. With changes in temperature, the mercury expands and contracts, and the temperature can be read from the scale.